Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy CuriousJ here with what I'm gonna call my first official episode of This Week Today with CuriousJ. The first episode that I made this last week was kind of a test run. I didn't have a name to the podcast yet, which I feel like this is the one I want to stick with. And I've never done anything like this before, so this is all completely new to me. The first one's audio only. This one's gonna have video. You'll be able to see me. You'll be able to see footage of the games I'm talking about. We're going to give you a whole new experience, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So before I get into it, this week's episode is brought to you by Okami Anime. Okami Anime has a Facebook page with some spicy anime memes that I love, and I know you will too. They have a website, okamianimeclub.com, where they have a bunch of cool articles on there, some anime merch, and other cool things that I think you should check out for yourself. So let's get into it. We're going to get into some games. We're going to get into some streamer news and all that good stuff. That's what this podcast is going to be about. So let's get into it. Last week I talked about Warcraft 3 Reforged. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little upset because, like I said last week, I've been waiting for this game for a year. It's taken so long and I've had my hopes up for a while. And the funny part is when I finally posted last week's episode, they made the official announcement of the release date, which is coming up pretty soon. I'm happy about it. Honestly, I am. I'm excited for the game finally coming out. But I'm also a little disappointed because a part of me knew that it wasn't going to come out at the expected release date of December 31st, 2019. And I was right. So the game officially has its release date. It's January 28, 2020. And as you know, I say I'm disappointed, but I'm super excited about it, and I can't really be that mad because I was kind of looking more into it, and I was like, well, you know, Blizzard, they have their reasons, right? And one of the posts that they made kind of really made up for everything, in my opinion. So Blizzard says, we've been working hard to get Forged in your hands with the end of the year. As we started approaching the finish line, we felt we'd need a little extra development time for finishing touches. As always, our goal is to honor the high standards you hold us to. Which I get. You know, it's Blizzard. And at this point in time, they've been out for a long time. They have great games. So there is a high standard that we as, you know, fans and consumers hold them to. And I honestly feel like they're gonna meet our expectations, maybe even exceed them. I mean, that'd be super cool. But here's me hoping for the best. Warcraft 3 Reforged, released January 28, 2020, right around the corner, guys. I hope you guys are excited about it as I am. So next game I want to talk about was talked about in the Game Awards this year. And it's an MMO that's coming out called New World. It's Amazon's first official game in this style, if at all, if I'm not mistaken. And it's Amazon, you know, we all know and love them. We love shopping there. We love the fact that they now own Twitch, and that gives us Twitch Prime, which gives you the ability to subscribe to one of your favorite streamers free once a month, giving you those nice emotes and sub badges. And yeah, now they're making a game. And it looks great, if I do say so myself. So the game is called New World. It's an open world MMO set in 17th century. Age of Exploration is the way they called it, where you venture into this newly discovered island called Aeternum. Their players basically conquer the land, overcome rival players, kind of in a PvP fashion. You gotta overcome a legion of undead creatures that are trying to basically get rid of you. And what I like about it is an open world. You know, you're gonna discover cool items and locations, and you get to build your own empire from what I've read. One of the things that I'm looking forward to is, in MMOs myself, I always look forward to the PvP. And one of the things that they talked about was massive battles and fortress sieges of up to 100 players. That sounds amazing to me. We have games that do 100 players often now, mostly battle royales, but this is like all out combat. To me, that's so dope, and I'm excited for it. Game's called New World. It's supposed to be released in May of 2020. It doesn't have that official date yet, but I'm pretty sure they're sticking to that May 2020 date. So next thing I want to talk about is, let's call it Riot Forge. That's what they're calling themselves now. Riot, the creators of League of Legends, have been working on a lot of games, guys. It's crazy. They're really expanding from being just League of Legends. They have a couple of games already announced, and they're working on more. We already have Teamfight Tactics, which came out recently, and that's actually being ported into Android and iOS. It's not going to be some knockoff version of the game. It's actually going to be Teamfight Tactics. One of the games that I'm excited about, that they've been calling it Project A. I don't know if that's the actual official title to it. That's just what they're calling it now, but it's a shooter. It looks a lot like Overwatch, but better in my opinion. I mean, this may be speaking too soon because Overwatch is a great game, but it just looks like, to me, kind of like Teamfight Tactics, maybe a little bit like Call of Duty-esque. Like, the guns look better in my opinion, and it still has characters with abilities, so that's to me where I feel like it's a little bit like Overwatch, but it's not gonna be where every character is stuck to the gun that character has. It looks like you're able to, you know, switch around. Maybe there's probably gonna be like a purchasing menu within the game, so where you can switch out your guns, and you still have these super cool abilities. So I think it's a great take on a shooter, and to me, Riot didn't let us down with League of Legends, and Teamfight Tactics was a huge hit, so I'm excited about that. They also have a few other games in the talks. They have Legends of Runeterra, which is being created, which is a card game if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of trying to be a little bit Hearthstone-ish, and to me, this is so we're talking Overwatch, we're talking Hearthstone. To me, it's kind of starting to seem like, are they trying to take over here? Are they the new Blizzard on the block, so to speak? Because that's where it's going to, and they're taking it a little further. They even talked about kind of having some indie titles. There's I think they talked about it in the Game Awards actually. There's one called Ruined King and another one called Convergence. Now, they are by Riot Forge. They're in the Riot Forge label, but they also have other developers working on them. Ruined King, if I'm not mistaken, hold on, yes, so Ruined King is being developed by Airship Syndicate, and it's going to be for console and PC. There's not much known to it there. There's really no release date. They just kind of did a little teaser trailer, but we know it's an indie game, and we know it's going to be story based, so that's exciting. It's a League of Legends story, so that's something really to look forward to. They're really expanding their horizons with this kind of stuff. The other one that they were talking about is called Convergence, which is also an indie game, also story based, but this one has a different developer. This one is being made by Double Stallion Games. Again, you know, story based, focusing on the League of Legends world, the universe that is brought to us by them, and it's just different. You know, they don't have the traditional experience in making completable games, I guess you can say. Like, they're more of a competitive kind of game maker. It's kind of, I'm kind of trying to explain this a little better but to me, it's just exciting that they're actually making these new games. They're even working on, from what I've heard, a fighter. That's crazy. Like, you're talking about making a shooter, a card game, a strategy game. Now you have story driven games, a fighting game. Like, what is next for Riot? And all this at the same time. Like, League of Legends has been out for a while, and all of a sudden you're gonna hit us with all of this at the same time? Man, that's crazy. If I do say so myself, that is crazy, but I love it and I'm excited. To me, the competitiveness between these game developers is what brings us such great games. Not just competitiveness, but, you know, cooperativeness. You take ideas from here and there, from things that are doing well, and you know, you bring something that hasn't done well and you resurrect it, and it's just wild. I love it. So the next game I want to talk about is actually a Half-Life game. Sure, you haven't heard that in a while, right? A Half-Life game being released. That is crazy, because I mean, how long has it been? It's been, so we had Half-Life 1, we had Half-Life 2, but it has to have been at least a decade since Half-Life 2 came out. So the new game I'm talking about is called Half-Life Alyx. Has a release date of March 2020. No exact date yet, but you know, that's they're trying to do that time of the year this next year. And it's exciting to me because it's a VR game. You know, I don't own a VR myself, but I have a little bit of experience with them, and that's like the future right there. And it looks great. To think of Half-Life in VR is insane. So Valve themselves have said that they have the biggest group of people ever working on a game for Valve working on this game. Like, that's how much they're trying to put into it. It's been in the works for a long time. It started as a test for their VR experience. They didn't really think of making it a full-blown game. But when they had their developers play like this little 15-minute game that they had made, they kind of realized that these game testers were doing so much more with it than they expected, and they saw potential there. So now we have Half-Life Alyx. So one of the cool things they're talking about is it's going to be the first time where the main character has a voice, and they're talking about it being as long as Half-Life 2, so it's going to be a great game, like, without a doubt. And this is Valve. I mean, come on. Next game I want to talk about is, oh man, I love anime and I love Dragon Ball, and they've made so many games throughout the years, and this next one I want to talk about is called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So Dragon Ball was doing great with fighters. Like, that game was so good. Sorry, this one I have to play the sound. I love this song, makes me reminisce. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, but this song is so good. So yes, Fighters was so good, and it kind of revived the Dragon Ball franchise, and now they're coming back with the first time we've ever had a Dragon Ball Z story-driven game on PC. In Goku's sense, we've had Xenoverse, but this is just like Goku, where you get to play throughout his life. It's been done before, but never like this. It's supposed to be kind of open world-ish, but you do have like a linear story that you have to follow. And the graphics look amazing. It's gonna be, you know, a little bit. There's definitely gonna be fighting. Don't get me wrong, but it's gonna be a story game. Chala and chala. Damn. I can't help it, guys. I love this song so much. It just reminds me of being a kid, and I had to. When I was a kid watching Dragon Ball, we didn't really have cable like at the time that showed Dragon Ball. And it wasn't really in the States yet. So we had this antenna that we put on top of this old school TV we had, and it caught signal from Mexico. So I'm from a border town. Caught signal from Mexico, and we were able to pick up the channel in Spanish that had Dragon Ball Z on it. And well, they had Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball Z was at the Frieza saga at the time, and I was able to watch from there to the Cell saga until finally we got Toonami in the States, and then I was able to watch it in English. But yeah, just a little history from me right there. Kind of dating myself on pre-Toonami right there. But yes, so the release date on that one I believe is in January. And it's just, they've been putting so much into it. like I was saying, it's gonna be an action RPG. It's gonna have fighting in there. You get to fly around as Goku. Your control is in, you know, typical third person. But apparently the perspective is gonna shift when you get into a fight. It's gonna be like kind of over the shoulder. But outside of that, you know, it's an open world, so you get to roam around, do side quests. Apparently, you get to fish in the game, which that sounds awesome. You know, I love when I can just kind of idly chill in a game and enjoy myself. So as far as game news goes, last but not least, we have the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I've always been a fan of Final Fantasy. I mean, as you can see right here behind me, we got a little, right there, we got a little Cloud Strife that my wife and I got from Japan at the Sega arcade. And yeah, but there's not, what more can I say? I've played most of them. I think the only ones I really haven't played is 4, 5, and 6. But I did play 1, 2, and 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. I actually played a little bit of 11, the MMO, when it was brand new, and 12, 13, of course. 14 I got into fairly recently, actually this year. I played through the whole game all the way through Shadowbringers, and 15, of course. But yes, 7 is definitely one of my top 3 favorites in the Final Fantasy series, along with I want to say 9 and 10. It's a tough one, but I think 7, 9, and 10 are definitely my favorite Final Fantasy games. And in no order, really. I love all 3 of them. I want to say equally, but it's a really tough decision to make when it comes to Final Fantasy games. But so anyways, going back to the game. So it is a remake. We all know and love Final Fantasy VII, and it is gorgeous, guys. Like the graphics that they've put into this game is intense, and when you compare it to what was out back then, it's just a huge difference. So you know, you do get to play as Cloud. You know, you do have your main enemies that we all know. You know, we're gonna fight Sephiroth. We all know that. The thing is, so they're talking about expanding on the universe of the game, and apparently it's not just gonna be one game. So rumors is that they're already working on part 2, and we don't even know if that's where it ends. We don't know if it's gonna be a 2-parter. We don't know if they're gonna do a part 3, but we do know that they're working on part 2. So we know that what we see here is not gonna be the entire game, which is kind of a bummer. It reminds me of back in the day when, you know, these were like 3-disc games, but you got them all in one bundle. You didn't have to wait for disc 2 and disc 3 to come out in the near future, you know? So it's kind of a bummer, but I'm still super excited for the game, and I hope that they don't take a long time in between parts to release, you know? So the release date for this one is actually March the 3rd of 2020, which is kind of cool because my birthday is a few days after that. So I think this might be what I'm going to be doing for my birthday. But it looks great, guys, and I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. So that's going to be it for gamer news. I wanted to go over some streaming news. I don't have any footage for that, but it's just something that I've been kind of reading over, and I just wanted to talk about it. So in latest Fortnite news, we have this feud going on between Dakotas and Ninja. So Dakotas came out and said that the game is hot garbage right now, which is a little rough to say about a game that, you know, is your bread and butter, especially in his, you know, in his numbers and viewers and streamer, in his streamer sense, you know what I mean? But does that mean he's not entitled to his opinion? Because that's kind of what it felt like when Ninja came out and said that he shouldn't talk about a game like that, that if it's only going to bring him down, that he, you know, it's going to cause this domino effect where he loses his viewership, and eventually the people who view him aren't going to want to play the game anymore because he's an influencer. So if he says that the game's hot garbage, then that means that we should think the same, and that we're going to stop playing it. I say we, I don't play the game anymore, but you know, Ninja means like his viewers. to me, that's the wrong mentality to have, in my opinion, because you're kind of insinuating that your viewers are these mindless zombies that can't think for themselves, that can't say, hey, you know, maybe this guy thinks the game sucks, but I like it, so I'm gonna play it anyway. You know what I mean? And that's exactly how Dakota feels. He's kind of like, hey, bro, like, stay in your lane. I'm gonna have my opinions. I'm gonna say what I want to say, and the people who view me are free thinkers. He kind of takes a jab at him and says that their viewership is completely different, that Ninja has 9 and 10-year-old viewers, and that Dakota's viewers are all like 18 and up, which might be true. For all we know, it might be true. Ninja has kind of taken over the child-friendly stream as far as Fortnite goes. Not that he hasn't had his crazy outbursts and stuff that probably aren't, you know, child safe, but the parents love him, the kids love him, so he is the go-to streamer when it comes to kids watching a Fortnite stream. But I don't know, to me it just seemed like Ninja's really worried that Dakota's saying this is gonna make people stop playing the game, which is in turn gonna make Dakota's lose money, which would in turn make Ninja lose money if people stop playing and watching the game. And I think he really just needs to worry about himself. If it's gonna affect anyone, it's gonna affect Dakota's, and I don't think he's even worried about that because he knows that his viewers are free thinkers, as he put it. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because to me it's a little crazy how people can kind of get in their own heads, and it almost made it seem like this guy's fame made him feel like he could control what other people think and say, which should never be the case. Like, don't be afraid to speak up, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Obviously, don't be toxic, don't spout hate, but, you know, don't be afraid to speak your mind either. So that's kind of a little bit of the negative side. I wanted to talk about something else on the lighter side. It's about Dr. Disrespect. I know, we talked about him last time. I might talk about him every time, I don't know, he's always got something going on. But this one was kind of warm-hearted, which is rare to see from him. He basically, so he had one of his latest streams, he had someone come and make a donation and leave a little memo. They said that they had met him at a convention recently, and that meeting Dr. Disrespect completely changed this guy's life. He had lost somewhere a little over 100 pounds since meeting him, and it's been less than half a year. And that his life is just so much better now, not only having lost weight, but gained confidence and just living a healthier lifestyle. And it was crazy to see Dr. Disrespect kind of just break character and break down, and not that he cried or anything, but he basically admits that, you know, 99% of the time he's this fake character, and there's 1% of him that's genuine. And he was so excited to see that he affected someone in that way. He was ecstatic, he was, you know, a little bit emotional and stuff. But it is crazy, like, these guys, I mean, Ninja makes he makes a point in saying that these guys are influencers when you have this many, you know, viewers and followers and stuff. Not that they're all mindless zombies, but that you can have this positive effect on people in some way. And even someone like Dr. Disrespect, who's known as this, you know, kind of dude who's always raging and yelling, and he, Dr. Disrespect, hates on games more than anyone I know. Not that he doesn't play them after hating on them, but he does it anyway, you know? But this guy, to have changed his life in such a way is amazing. I've kind of, you know, I know what it's like to have struggled with weight gain and weight loss and all that stuff, and it's inspiring to know that, you know, this guy met him and changed his life for the better. You know, positive attitude, more confidence, lost all the weight, healthier lifestyle. It's cool that kind of positive energy is still out there. So to me, it's cool that kind of positive energy is still kind of roaming around out there. It's great. I love that this world isn't full of darkness and hate. And I guess to finish this episode, I just want to go on and say, you know, everyone just love each other, be kind to each other. Remember that we're all human beings. We're all suffering in one way or another, and we all have our own trials and tribulations. And that's normal. there's ups and downs, and you may feel at some point in your life that you've hit rock bottom, but believe me when I say, when you've hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. Don't ever give up. Things always get better. They always will. And all time heals all wounds. So just keep that in mind, especially with the holidays coming around. Before I end the episode, I just want to say, Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. Be safe out there. I hope you're able to spend time with your family, if not with your friends or someone who loves you or someone you love. And just be safe, be kind to each other, love each other, like I said. And I hope to see you all again pretty soon here. This will be my episode before Christmas, but I'm gonna have another one probably before the new year. So hope y'all enjoy this. If you have any comments or opinions, feel free to comment below. Drop a like, subscribe to catch this episode and the next one, and I'll see y'all next time. Take it easy. Peace.